All right. Our next speaker is a representative from the California Drug Endangered Children Training and Advocacy Center. Since 1992, the California DEC program has trained multidisciplinary professionals on how to identify and rescue children from drug environments. Officer Ron Belser with the Oroville Police Department works with the Drug Endangered Children program. He regularly trains those who come in contact with children who are exposed to drugs. We asked Officer Belser to come and address the issues of children exposed into marijuana environments. He will discuss some of the red flags you as multidisciplinary professionals who come into contact with drug environments and specifically children, to give you the high points on what to look for, what those red flags are, and what you should do to collect the necessary evidence. I want to welcome Officer Belser. He's come a long way, and he's been recently preoccupied with the fires up in the Oroville area. So he was able to break away and come and do this important presentation. So I want to welcome Officer Belser at this time.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Speaking of the fires, fires are a terrible thing. In our county, this time of year when we have fires, there is a silver lining. There are a lot of crops that get burned up. One of the most recent crops was about 15,000 plants. And we have huge crops in Butte County, where I come from. Helicoptered in on a lot of huge grows. Some as high as 75,000 plants. So in my county, marijuana is an issue. I am a supervising officer of the Oroville Police Department. I oversee the Municipal Law Enforcement Group. I oversee code enforcement, and we deal with marijuana on a daily basis. To talk about marijuana with children, marijuana, we have to remember, can never be taken lightly. It is a drug, and it becomes an addiction, and that addiction becomes number one in a household, where the children take back seat to the addiction. So it's important when you're in a home, or you have the opportunity to be inside a home, or you learn of information about the environment inside a home, that you act on that. You act on it not only for the criminal, but most importantly, to save children from that environment. We talk about child well-being, defined. It's a state of being happy, healthy, prosperous, and safe. Stability is huge in a family. Family members who have a marijuana dependency, the family stability is gone. Negatively affects the child's safety, well-being, psychological, and emotional development. Who are mandated reporters? It's always important to know who is a mandated reporter, and who you talk to, and who you receive the information from, and what you do with that information, and how you disperse the information properly. Okay. Pay close attention to the commercial film and photographic print processor. I'll show you a picture in a little bit here, coming up real quick, where I was able to work a case just from a photo that was developed in a lab. And this is the picture here. Hazards to children living in marijuana environments. This is, I'm sorry, it's not there. This is a case from my first agency that I worked with. This was my actual first DEC case that I did. These were a family, 2 kids, mom and dad, and they had their photos developed at a local business. And I was friends with the person in the local business. They showed me the photos and wrote a search warrant into the house. There were a ton of these photos around. Marijuana becomes a lifestyle for people. It becomes what they wear in their bodies, how they decorate their homes, how they live, what they eat, what they drink. and it's passed on to the children that are present at the time. This young lady here was obviously learning how to trim marijuana bud. We talk about marijuanas and indoor grows, the dangers surrounding those. If you happen to come upon one or have information about them, the electrical dangers, the toxic molds, atmospheric hazards, menacing chemicals, and marijuana accessible to children is endangerment to a child. It's a crime. Hazardous electrical, when electrical is installed for an indoor grow, it is not done by a licensed electrician. They don't get permits. They don't have a building inspector or a building official come look at their wiring. Okay, these things are extremely dangerous, and as a result, when you look at each picture that I show you, I want you to think about a child being present in the home where these photos come from. As a result, you have a lot of fires, indoor grow fires. There are some fire agencies, especially in my area, that will only contain a fire if they know that there is an indoor grow inside of it. They will not go inside the home. They'll only contain the outside and secure other structures around it. They're very dangerous. Dangerous chemicals, harsh pesticides and chemicals that are stored in homes for both indoor and outdoor grows are often accessible to children. They have bright labels on them, bright colors. Kids are attracted to them. Whenever you see anything that's accessible to a child, whether it be chemicals, whether it be marijuana, it is a great opportunity to take a photo. It's a great opportunity to document that information. And if you're not law enforcement, if you're social services and you come across this type of information, it's an excellent idea to document what you can, as long as it's safe. Toxic molds. Living in a greenhouse is not what humans are supposed to do. And indoor grows is like living in a greenhouse. Marijuana indoor grows have high levels of mold which causes health effects to those who live inside the houses, those being children. Labored breathing, asthma, and other medical effects. Aspergillus is a very toxic mold that is sometimes seen in cannabis. It comes in black, green, white, yellow, blue in color. Sometimes strains of Aspergillus could destroy kidneys and cause neuropathic pain throughout the body. There's actually even deaths documented behind this. These are inside homes containing indoor grows. Atmospheric hazards. Humans are not like plants. Plants need carbon dioxide to grow and prosper, where we need oxygen. Carbon dioxide is often introduced to plants inside indoor grows through machinery, much like this here. And carbon dioxide levels can get as high as 5 to 10 times higher than what normal levels should be inside a house. And who are inside those homes when that happens? Children are. And that's a carbon dioxide generator. Brief, seen Honeywell lab equipment. When you see extraction tubes, when you see collection dishes, any type of butter, peanut butter, wax, the names for Honeywell, you hear people talking about Honeywell inside the homes. Super, super dangerous. These things explode, they catch on fire. When you see these type of items laying around, it's not a good place to be hanging out. Make whatever excuse you can to leave if you're with social services, or even if you're an officer not in the right position and have all your troops present. You can always come back. These items here were seized from a DHO lab in our county. As you can see, these guys are ingenious. They use 6 tennis balls with 6 butane canisters through 6 extraction tubes to land in a collection dish. Cases, when you see cases and cases of butane, collection dishes, items like this, very dangerous to be around, not want to be a part of, and it's important to report that. BHO explosions, we talk about BHO explosions, they happen everywhere. Hundreds and hundreds of explosions in every county in the state of California and across the United States. Children are exposed, burnt, and die as a result of these explosions. These three gentlemen here, this was the first butane honey oil lab explosion that went on in 2002. I was pulling into town, just went 10-8 on duty, and felt my vehicle rumble. Look up and see a huge plume of black smoke. Our mindset in Butte County, we thought it was a meth lab that had exploded. We had not seen a BHO honey oil lab to that point. These three gentlemen were in extracting BHO through an extraction tube using butane in a small duplex. A fourth party walked in and lit a cigarette and blew the windows and walls off of the duplex. The subject in the middle was the first one that I had contacted. He had skin dripping from his arms and his legs, dragging along the ground. And the phone, which he was trying to report the incident to 911, was stuck to his hand. Cooling BHO in the refrigerator, which is a common practice, and remember, children live in these homes. People can't wait for BHO to cool off, so they will put it in the refrigerator. When the compressor sparks, it is a bomb, and this is the result of BHO cooling off in a refrigerator and an explosion. There are thousands of these pictures out there on the internet. To be closer related to these types of cases, they're horrific. One case in particular that I went on in our city was in an apartment complex. A little girl who was 3 years old was using the restroom at the time when her neighbor's BHO lab exploded. That little girl refuses to go to the bathroom in any place in which she lives now. Her mom has to take her to the neighbors to use the bathroom. These types of things, the people that are manufacturing BHO and involved in this type of business do not realize the effect that they have on children, how they displace them from their families, how they are scarred and maimed for life, and will not have a normal productive life like they deserved without the reckless disregard for individuals involved in this business. Marijuana paraphernalia, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. I'm not saying based on experience, but we come across this a lot. Paraphernalia, loaded pipes, bongs with bong water, grinders left around in areas accessible to children is a danger. It's a hazard. And if you've ever been a part of an investigation where a child, myself personally, an 18-month-old that swallowed a marijuana bud that went into a coma for several days, it is dangerous to leave laying around. And people that live this lifestyle and leave these items laying around endanger their children, endanger the people in their homes. Again, marijuana accessible to children. When I talk about accessibility, I'm talking when a child has an ability to get to it. That's all it takes. When you're out investigating and you believe that you have a drug endangered children's case, measure the height of the child and then have that child reach as high as they can and measure to the tip of their fingers. Observe their movements in the homes or apartments, whatever you're in, and watch them. They'll climb up, climb over everything, put stools up next to countertops, climb on top of countertops, get in the cabinets. Why? Because they don't have anybody parenting them. They have to access food, they get hungry, they find ways to climb, they find ways to reach things. It's important always to document that. Marijuana edibles, we could go 10, 12 hours talking about marijuana edibles and anything that's out there. If you just walk into a grocery store and everything that you can put your eyes on and see and walk past can be infused with THC. And it's a huge market now. Marijuana edibles for people that use them on a regular basis. The onset is usually about an hour, so it's hard to control when you're eating to feel the effect of marijuana Sometimes people eat multiple brownies, multiple cookies, waiting for it to kick in, and an hour later they're on the floor and can't move. These type of situations, leaving stuff like this, laying around the refrigerator, marijuana brownie, etc., that is absolutely accessible to a child. A child that's hungry, that has the ability to open up a refrigerator, can access that. And if you look at it, it's on the very edge, the very front of the shelf, the first thing the child's going to see. Marijuana edibles look like candy. You can take the peach rings, that are here, the candy that is here, the orange slices, they look like candy that I used to eat when I was a little kid. A child doesn't know the difference between this. They don't understand if it says it contains THC or the milligrams of THC that it contains. They know no different. They see the candy and that's what they want to eat. Again, different pictures. These type of items, when people live in their homes and they develop a dependency to a substance, to include marijuana, they get complacent and they leave these things around. They forget about the dangers behind it because the idea of getting high or feeding your addiction becomes number one. You don't think about your children. You quit thinking about your children. So these items are often left around and accessible to children. Again, a very important thing to document when you're investigating these cases. Marijuana soda. Every kid wants soda. You can find marijuana soda just about anywhere now. There are black market companies out there, reputable companies out there that are making marijuana soda. This contains THC. Every kid loves soda. Every kid can get into a soda bottle. When you're in homes, when you talk about individuals that have indoor grows, outdoor grows, maintaining large stashes of marijuana and money, they have weapons. They have guns. They keep guns all over the house. They don't think about keeping guns locked up in a safe because when someone's kicking their door doing a home invasion robbery, they don't want to have to worry about the combination and locking that lock. They have guns in their entertainment centers. They have them behind doors, anywhere a gun can be hidden. That is something that everybody in here should look out for at all times. Speaking of home invasion robberies, a house plus marijuana equals a home invasion robbery. Where I come from in Butte County, this is a huge problem. People lose their lives over growing, selling, and manufacturing marijuana. And who are in those homes? Children are. I just perusing through the internet, and I love to do this. I always try to find an interesting story. I found this one in 2014 in Fresno where multiple subjects forced their way into a home. And as a result of home invasion robbery, the people inside who are maintaining a stash of cash and marijuana were armed as well. And they shoot the intruders. And the intruders take a 15-year-old that lives in the home and use the 15-year-old as a human shield to exit the home. They threw this 15-year-old in their car and drove in excess of speeds of over 100 miles an hour through Fresno, subsequently dropping the 15-year-old off in downtown Fresno unharmed. When you think about these type of stories, and these type of stories are out there and they are everywhere, okay? I hold the people that are in that home maintaining the stash of marijuana, involved in growing marijuana, responsible for that child 100%. Two of these intruders subsequently ended up dying as a result of gunshot wounds. But that 15-year-old girl will never be the same. She's constantly scarred, and as a result of the choices that her caretakers, her parents made. So how can law enforcement help a child and protection workers? Photographs are huge. Photos are just about everything that you need in a case that says so much more than words could ever say. Document evidence of violence, weapons, marijuana hazards accessible by children, and then to share criminal backgrounds with children's services workers or CPS workers. The type of people that hang out in these homes, live in these homes, and around these homes are not often good people and can help people understand the environment that the kids are around, whether they're sex registrants, whether they have prior homicide convictions, whether they have prior drug dealings. It's not a good environment to have those people around children, and can help make a case much stronger. Identifying children have access into the home, interviewing children, and list them as crime victims. A child inside the home is a victim no matter who's responsible, whether it's a home invader robbery or someone inside the home. Children are amazing, they are amazing drawers, and they can draw you some amazing stuff. And it helps to establish what they see inside the home and what their parents do and what they pay attention to. Often interviewing neighbors, family members, other witnesses, and provide a copy of the report as soon as you can to a children's services worker. And that is huge, because that is their leverage, that is their ability to make decisions needed to be made to save a child or children out of the home and to get the proper programs started. Just real quick, these are some of the drawings. You can see these of children. You can see marijuana pipes. These are drawn by little kids and what they see inside their home. These type of drawings go a long ways, and I'm telling you, if I was a bad guy and I was in court, I wouldn't want these drawings being showed to a juror or a judge regarding what goes on in my home. Interviews with children are huge. They're like little sponges. They hear things, they see things. I have some incredible interviews with children that describe crimes, describe hand-to-hand drug dealings, describe home invasion robberies, BHO labs, like the actual person there doing it. It's pretty amazing. So how can CSD and CPS help law enforcement? When you see something, be specific about the documentation information that you need. Ensure the interpretation of harm. When you're inside a home and you go to do a referral and law enforcement's not present with you and you see guns and you see a large amount of people inside, share all the details with everything that you see inside that home. Let them know the criteria that substantiates the reason why you think law enforcement needs to intervene, and participate, be present during the interviews with children. I frown down on any officer or anybody in law enforcement that says I don't want a CSD worker or a CPS worker next to me or a social worker next to me when I talk to a child. They are a huge advocate, and they can make more things happen on their end through their system than we can a lot of times on the criminal end. Just remember that. Share any type of family background if you have it, observations again, crying, distressed children, weapons, drugs, and communicate with law enforcement about ongoing cases or repeat referrals. When you start getting multiple referrals, that is a good sign for law enforcement, good time to go save children, but that's often bad. Okay. I'm going to talk about real quick just about being smart. And safety doesn't happen by accident. I will tell everybody that goes into a home that has an indoor-outdoor marijuana grow, drug sales, super, super dangerous. Okay? Don't take anything for granted. If something, your spidey sense or your nerves tell you, hey, something isn't right here, you don't have to hang around, you can leave. It's no fun to lose anybody that you work with, and over drugs, or drug dealing, or drug manufacturing at all. So be safe, be smart. You guys all have families to go to. Remember, there's always another day you can go back to that house and take care of business. That's my contact information. I love talking to people. I love to hear about cases. If you ever need any help, the Drug Endangered Children's Advocacy Center, we constantly provide expert opinions, witness testimony. We will guide you through search warrants. We put on trainings all over California, Nevada, parts of Oregon, several other different states. Ever have any questions, ever need help with a case, anything with a report, please call us, please contact us, and we can give you some good tools. Thank you very much.
on to our next speaker.